Cheers. Good morning, everybody. 9 Sunday.
Whenever a person does you that, and you pull back your energy, you extract yourself, you get yourself out of the way. That person, they will feel it. They will know. This is something that is hitting them, is hitting their consciousness, and they are feeling that you have caught up on their BS. Many of you guys have dealt with toxic or narcissistic individuals, and you have noticed the very moment you decided to remove yourself from that situation, the narcissist, that toxic person, developed a very uncomfortable obsession, very toxic obsession about you. It is where now you see that person showing up at your workplace. It is where you see that person all of a sudden showing up at the place where you live, the places where you normally frequent, the places where you usually go. It could be a gym, it could be whatever, it could be a restaurant, it could be anything. Even sometimes the places that you shop, you do your shopping, your groceries. What is actually happening is that all of a sudden,
That's fun.
because
What a shock.
you're caught up on that BS, okay? Whatever it is they was doing in the dark, whatever BS they was doing, or whatever shady stuff they was throwing towards your way. These people feel that you are caught up on them, and there's nothing that is terrifying for a toxic person to finally realize that you're caught up on their game, because the whole intention was for you not to understand what was happening. The whole intention was for them to go ahead with their manipulation without you having to figure out what they was doing behind the scenes. So if you was, for example, dealing with a group of covens that have been trying to attack you, or even sometimes attacked you at some point, and then you happen to remove your energy, that is when those people are going to realize you have finally caught up on their game. You finally see them for who they are. You can see through them. And that is very, and it's extremely uncomfortable for these people. So all of a sudden now, why you seeing these people, the stalking has intensified. Is why I've done a video at some point, and I've told you, when you go through an awakening, you will now start to see the gang stalking becoming extremely intensive. It has been there before for a very long period of time. He wasn't just conscious about it. He didn't know about it. He wasn't aware of it. But now you go through awakening and you catch up on the BS. That is when now you start to see the intensity of this gang stalking. They are even sending in reinforcements. They are sending in every individual they can, every energy they can, every person that they can do to make sure that they stop you on the tracks. Usually you have got to understand, when toxic people finally realize This person is not manipulatable. I don't even know if that's the right word. This person cannot be played with. You can no longer get triggered. There is no games they can play on you. That is exactly when it becomes extremely serious. So it's why always they tell you, when you have caught up on a narcissistic individual, you always have to move out very quietly. You have to be very, very strategic, because these people are afraid and scared that whatever it is that they have been doing behind the scenes or in the dark is going to come to the light. So it's the reason as to why they find so many different ways. Many of you guys know this thing they call the smear campaign. When you are caught up on that BS, is when now you see that person, they are going on a full-blown smear campaign to act like they're the villains. They are the innocent ones. So this person was the bad one. I did everything. And they are trying to explain themselves to so many different people, because they are trying to cover up their image, to protect their image so that they don't look bad or, around the people that used to know you guys. So is where you now see they are terrified, because they think your removal from the situation becomes their exposure. Because all of a sudden people are starting to ask the questions. If that person was the bad person, why are these things continuing to happen? Why are these things recurring even in their absence? And people are starting to catch up on their game. So it's why toxic people normally tend to smear your name. They want to make you to become. So I think the word was the victim. Yeah, they play the victim. Is it? Yeah, they try to become the victim. Yeah, exactly. That was the word, the victim. They want to make sure that they portray this image that they are the victims, okay, and you are the villain. So in most of the cases, it is very uncomfortable for them to continue the lie in your absence. So they have to make sure that they do all these techniques and the tricks they can to make sure that they continue to play the victim, to become the victim. Is why they spoil your name. They do all this nonsense, say all this nonsense about you to make sure that you become the villain. You continue to be the villain even in your absence. So a lot of toxic people, like I've said, they do things and they are hoping that nothing will be uncovered, nothing will come out to the surface. But out of the blue, your intuition, your discernment, your guides, your angels, God, universe, or whatever, gave you the insights and you was able to understand the person that you've been dealing with was a very toxic individual, was a horrible person, was a witch, warlock, or stuff like that. You was dealing with very toxic individuals and you have removed yourself. It is very terrifying for them, because they are now afraid and scared, because they think the truth is going to come out to the surface. All of you guys who have dealt with toxic people, you have experienced a different level of stalking from the people that was doing you dirty, okay? What is exactly happening is that they are scared. They don't know what you're going to do next. They don't know who you are going to speak to. Even for a lot of you guys, the chosen ones, the matrix understands when you awaken, you are seeing extreme gang stalking. A lot of you guys have been gang stalked, but you will see extreme gang stalking around you. That is because the matrix is scared. The matrix thinks, the illusion breaks, okay? Your awakening breaks the illusion, and they think, what is he going to do next? Who is he going to speak to? Where is he going to be moving? What are the places they frequent? Which way can we do it better to stop them at their tracks? That is exactly what is actually happening. Many of the times when you come out of a toxic situation, you go through a very long period of solitude. That solitude is supposed to protect you. It is there to protect you, because if you continue to do the same thing that you used to, your enemies can find a way to get back into your tracks and stop you on the way. But when you embrace that solitude and isolation, that is the moment where your body starts to recover and heal, and eventually you will get clarity. You have got to understand, chosen ones, there is people that have always never wanted you to understand and understand what has always been happening behind the scenes. They always wanted you to be in that state of slumber, the sleep or the deep sleep, whereby things was continuing to go on around you, and you was never able to understand what was really happening behind the scenes. Those people continue to get terrified when you depart the vicinity, when you remove yourself. It could be workplace, for example, and you have just gone like a week or two. All of a sudden, you are hearing a lot of bad things about you. Those people are very terrified, because not only do you remove yourself from the situation, but also you will actually embody the truth, the things you've seen. You have walked away with a lot of evidence, and that is what they are scared of. Exposure. They are thinking that you are going to expose them because you know what has been happening. You remove yourself. You didn't explain. You didn't have to answer any questions. You just walked away because you realized that this was a very toxic environment to be. It was a very toxic situation to be. It could also have been a relationship. You are going to see those ex-people that you dealt with in that particular workplace or in the particular living environment extremely gun stalking you. This is going to be very, very uncomfortable. Okay? They are very worried you're going to spill the beans. They are very worried you know the truth of what has been happening in that environment and you're going to share that truth with other people. That is why they are stalking you intensively because they are terrified. They cannot come around and tell you that, we are sorry, this is what was happening. Or they don't tell you that stuff because of the evil. Because the evil is always coming. But they will try to find a way of how can they stop you from sharing that knowledge or truth with other people. So for the chosen ones who have been going through the massive awakening, what is actually happening around you, the reason why you see all of a sudden these NPCs you've never seen before, very particular individuals, even sometimes unknown people that following you around and this and that, harassing you and stuff like that, that is exactly what is happening. They're trying to put you back to sleep. Okay? The truth is about to come out and they know it, and they are trying to put you back to sleep so that they can feel better that you're not going to spread or share that truth with other people. They wanted you in a containment zone, in a zone whereby they could control you and manipulate outcomes. But now that is no longer possible because you have removed yourself from the situation. That is why they are extremely and intensively stalking you, harassing you, and stuff like that. That is because they are extremely terrified of your next move. Because should the truth come out, a lot of them are going to fall and they don't know what they're going to do with themselves. So that is exactly what is happening here. It's been a motivation video for you guys. You have been asking yourselves questions as to why people have continuously gang stalked you when you have finally removed yourself from a situation. They will flood your social medias. They will try to send people at your workplace. They will turn your neighbors against you. They will do anything they can because they are scared of the truth coming to light. Let us know what you think about the video. You guys know I do love and appreciate the support. Please book a session if you want. You can always donate or support my channel if you want. Everything you need, you will find it in the description below. And until then, I will see you guys in my next one. Then Zomos signing out. Much love and blessings. Peace.
Demons don't like water. Why? Nobody knows unless you entertain the book of Genesis chapter 6 that when the sons of God saw that the daughters of men were beautiful, they seized upon them and took them to be their wives. The sons of God is a reference in the Old Testament to angels. I believe it's fallen angels came upon daughters of mankind, women, in Genesis 6, and it says there that the women became pregnant and they had babies, and the babies grew up to be giants, and they were known as the men of renown. The fallen ones, Nephilim. You see, Jacka, is this crazy? No, this is Bible, Genesis chapter 6. Wait, you said fallen angels. What have to do with demons? Because listen, how were the giants destroyed? The giants were not fully human, and they were not fully spirit. They were the progeny of fallen angels who cohabitated with human females. The children born out of the women were giants called Nephilim or Anakim. Goliath was the son of Anak, or the Anakim, some sort of genetic freaks. Isn't it interesting? After Genesis 6, when the flood came and washed away the giants, where did their souls go? What kind of souls did they possess? This is my opinion, and I've studied this for years, and it's still my opinion. I believe that judgment fell upon the generation of Noah because the line had been crossed that these fallen angels had cohabitated with women. They had human offspring that were hybrids, and when those hybrids were swept away in death by the flood, that those spirits of those hybrids, demons. There's angels fallen and not fallen, and then there's demons that are creatures always looking to inhabit something. Angels, according to the Bible, can appear and disappear. Demons need something to possess, including idols. Demons don't like water. Why? Nobody knows unless you...
It was like flapping around. Full shots making half an hour. I'm looking just weird stuff now. Shorts. That was bad. That was a bad one. You wait all that time. You wait all that time. And then I gotta stop watching them. Man kidnapped by a dolphin.
Yo, what's up? It's Donuts, and you're tuning in uncovering the sea crusts. Wow. Be on this channel for multiple years. Information and dolphin disclosure is totally research the
Florida man claims he was kidnapped by dolphins and forced to build an underwater city.
we've been covering heavily extensively on this channel for multiple years. The information in the dolphin disclosure is totally being released right now under the false guise of this fake story of a Florida man claiming he was kidnapped by dolphins and forced to build an underwater city. Now, is this true? The freaking news, Florida man, this jit, he was kidnapped by these freaking dolphins. We're gonna get into it. On March 6th, Lee County Sheriff's Office playfully debunked an online rumor after a widely shared post claimed a Florida man was kidnapped by dolphins and forced to build an underwater city. Now, we've studied the underwater city Atlantis being built. That's already built by humans. And the John C. Lilly dolphin research, the MK Ultra programs, they were experimenting with these dolphins, doing sexual stuff, mixing it with hallucinogens and whatnot to communicate with the dolphins. They were communicating with the dolphins so they can communicate with the whales. And the whales went down to Atlantis to communicate with the aliens. That's why the government funded that research. And I posted this that we are getting very close to full-on dolphin disclosure, totally vindicated. But I also told everybody that this was a fake story because we do the deep research on the dolphin disclosure. But was this actually a real story? And is this a cover-up? And making fun of the man, the Florida jit, who he was sunburned and disorientated after the MK Ultra, claiming he was kidnapped by the dolphins and forced to build the underwater city. Maybe they're joking and they watch the channel and they know the deep research that we did, but the dolphins are nothing but middle management to a higher order. The whales are at a much more sophisticated order than the dolphins are. Even humans, Russia, and other places utilize the dolphins to put laser beams on his freaking head to control the dolphins. But the dolphins are cool, but they're very connected to the aliens and connected to the meaning of life. So right here, the post was removed, this viral post of the Illuminati dolphins. The guy took it down. Why did he take it down? Very suspicious. I'd like to get a full-on interview. But these dolphins are middle management. The way I describe the dolphin, the Illuminati dolphins, because we uncover all the different Illuminati animals, from Illuminati cows to owls, like you see at Bohemian Grove, or on the Illuminati symbol of the owl. But the dolphin research, I started diving deep into this because I was sick of people stealing my information. And so I was like, I'm going to make a joke video about dolphins because of Robert Anton Wilson having the dolphins on his Illuminatus trilogy. And bada bing, bada boom, I found some crazy information, and the dolphin research is absolutely real, and it goes deep into the Illuminati dolphins. But the dolphins are middle management. They're not the controllers of the world. Unlike what we see on The Simpsons, telling a half-truth of the dolphins taking over Springfield, but they're being controlled by the octopus because the octopus is a trickster and a higher form of precognitive sentient life form, which could camouflage into a owl or a praying mantis. So the mantises are overlords of, even I would say, the human Atlantis race that are claiming to be aliens, but they're just time travelers. Right here, Elon is sharing the butthole portals. Thought this was kind of interesting. We've been covering these butthole portals. And yeah, it is illegal to talk to the dolphins. Why? With the dolphin births. Look, this is very important information. Please share this video out. We're breaking, everybody's distracted right now, and this is the most important story of today, of this Shabbat Shalom. This is the most important story. But before we dive back into the dolphin research, we got to cover some of these butthole portals, because that's another thing we've been covering with Stranger Things. And the butthole portals, how it was just a huge ritual, because Crowley and whatnot, this dark magic that's being done with like Kenneth Grant, where they would pound the sphincter to get into another dimension, and that's what's being actually pushed by the woke right. They're actually into this weird occult chaos magic. But Claude X, or I think it's called Claude X, it's an AI. Elon is uncovering the sea crusts of Claude. Claude, their symbol is a butthole portal. And fuck Tucker Carlson. Shout out to my homie Christopher Green, was over kicking it with him. Make sure to go watch that video, I posted it. But I want to get more into the dolphins and some of the real stuff behind the dolphin. Right here, this is shared by the Holy Roman Empire Association on Twitter. The Delphini, singular dolphin of Delfino, is a prominent noble family of Venice. So, sure, I'm being funny in a lot of my stuff, but this goes back to Tenet. I'm gonna show you some real stuff. Like we scare off the people in the beginning with being funny, but we're actually tying it into some real shit. And right here, the Delfino is a prominent noble family of Venice. All this goes back to Venice, the controllers.
Cheers.
Part of the 12 original noble lineages of the Republic, known as the Apostolic family. Thought to have elected the first Doge of Venice. That's why you got a Doge coin. And the dolphin symbol is very important. So this viral dolphin kidnapping arrest story is fake, coming out now, county deputy says. But please put your comments down below. Do you think that this man was kidnapped to build these underwater cities? There's always some strange stuff in the news, and that's what we cover is the Fortean phenomenons, the damned information other people won't go to. But the dolphins are becoming more popular, but y'all know we've been covering it for years because we're just early to the information here on this channel. So it's very important that y'all hit that like and subscribe button to subscribe and go support us over on the Patreon. In the show, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the dolphins are super in control, and they're singing and dancing, and they leave, and they tell us the meaning of life, and the meaning of life is 42. Florida Sheriff clarifies no dolphin kidnapped anyone to build an underwater city. Absolute lies. Absolute lies. But this whole story could be fabricated as well because it's a soft disclosure. They're doing it as but it is just soft disclosure, and it's all part of the Sea World Order. Wait until you learn about the Sea World Order. So I'll play a clip real quick of some of the deep information that we've uncovered of the dolphin mysteries. In this presentation, we're going to be diving deep into the Illuminati dolphins, and this would just definitely open your mind to some wild stuff. The big deep dive I've been going down is this John C. Lilly Illuminati dolphins, I call it, over here. Is meta programming. I didn't know how important that was to the social engineers until most recently.
Lilly describes quite a bit in his programming, meta-programming, the Human Biocomputer, about ways to program us at different levels in our psyche. So basically, you kind of have these base programs that he thinks in his evolutionary model kind of come out of basic survival drives, and those are the lowest levels. And then you kind of have stacked all the way up to your conscious waking brain, other programs that your biological software is running on. And so he theorizes that different means and methods, it's almost an unreadable book, but the parts that you can read to make out what he's talking about definitely plays into the possibility of future transhumanist ideas. He was a pioneer in microchips in the brain. They were doing tests with Lilly's technology and experimentation, not just with dolphins, but also with monkeys, implanting the microchip in the monkey's brain. He was a big part of that. So I think, he's essentially one of these other lesser known ultra figures.
While I was looking for the Illuminati dolphins, I stumbled across an Illuminati dolphin playing card. Wow, probably my most favorite Illuminati card in the deck. But I found some more interesting stuff. The dolphins experiments where they were masturbating the dolphins and giving them the schizogenics of LSD, which gives you like a schizophrenia
That's what stopped the study, right? When they found out, whoever was funding the study found out that they were jerking off the dolphins, and they stopped the study, right?
That's it could have been. I know Lilly stated in his book in the beginning. He says this information was to research the aliens, to communicate with them underneath the ocean, as most of the alien UFOs come out of the ocean. What Lilly was doing, he would go into a sleep deprivation tank like you see in Stranger Things, and he's like, oh, I can't be imprisoning these dolphins anymore. I gotta let them free. And he had the intention to end the experiment, and then the dolphins committed suicide by not eating anymore.
Johnny Mnemonic that you need to look into that is all about the dolphin.
Right. You know, so that movie, Johnny Mnemonic, predictive programming, it took place in 2021 where a plague happened through technology.
Electric rock. This is the thing, since you started it, I'm gonna get into it right now. It was electric in Johnny Mnemonic. Keanu Reeves is playing this guy with a wet wire chip. You know, I wanted to show you some pictures with Elon Musk, what he just posted to. I think Jacob Israel posted it a couple of days ago, but it's connected to this wet wire chip that they want to put in people's heads. But get this, in the movie, it's predictive in 2021 that there is this connected to transhumanism. It's a wet wire chip that they're going to place in people's heads. Now, the name of it's in the movie from 1996, I think it came out. It's called NAS, N-A-S.
The Economist magazine right here.
So absolutely not
Showing everybody.
dolphin information, but this also goes back to Tenet.
The Phoenicians, and it kind of worked its way all the way down into the tip of, northern tip of Africa through Carthage. And here we go, Tenet's husband, Baal. So everyone knows about Baal. It seems like if you're into occult studies, you've heard about Baal and Moloch, but Tenet was essentially his consort, the wife, and she was essentially has a connections to like Hecate. So she was kind of the goddess of magic and the goddess of ancient rituals and everything. So on the right, we've got the Canaanites, and
So
still
right
not
there
like
is Paranoid American. This is some of the dolphin research that he uncovered with Tenet.
actually on the eastern coast of Italy, down towards the south side of the food. So we've got even dolphins being used as their coins. There's also this House of the Dolphins, which is also in this same area where they actually worship them. And the reason why, and also the reason why there's a connection between Tanit and Baal, because they were both gods of agriculture. They were both gods of sacrifice. And the dolphins were related to agriculture because they were water creatures. And they thought that, well, they live in the water. They live their entire lives in the water, so maybe they can help bring rain to the crops. Therefore, the dolphins become a symbol of agriculture. So this is a really amazing study that was someone's PhD from 2020.
So I want to show the symbol of Tenet, how it is connected to the dolphin as well. Look at here. He got all the information. This is over on the Patreon on our Order at the Sprinkles Secret Society meeting that we did. You could become a member and watch that. Let's see where it is. He is so smart. Paranoid American. I'm trying to find it of Tenet with the dolphin. We see some of the dolphin coins there. And maybe it's right in the beginning. He probably started it off. Yeah, he did. Right there.
This is an incredibly old symbol. This one right here is. This one's actually fairly recent, only being second to first century BC, but the worship and the symbolism of her go back so much farther than that. Like, I'm talking 500 to 800 BC, probably more in some cases.
So that's the dolphin. I mean, that's the Sea World Order.
actually called et, or aleph to top, or the 22 letters, and becomes through this. And when we go into some of the deeper understandings behind it, we can learn incredibly fascinating things. For example, why were there 12 months in Gehinnom? And then why were there 7 chambers in Gehinnom? And then why is there reincarnation? The 12 months in Gehinnom refer to the 12 zodiacal signs, which are the 12 elemental letters. And the 7 double letters are the 7 chambers of Gehinnom.
Look at you. Look at this beautiful young girl. Come over to see us. You can see the difference in size. This is a young one on the left and Slinky on the right. But and you can't quite see the eyes, but they're pink as pink. Hey guys, watch your fingers, please. Thank you, Slinky. Thank you for turning on the channel. And good morning. Oh, is that right? No. Amazing. French. We definitely have some cuties here. What a big yawn. Mushroom gravy. Is that right? Steakhouse chips. Yeah, not bad. Well, these guys have smashed out second breakfast. They've got a top-class seed mix there. We've got the, now we've got the 12 secret herbs and spices. Well done, Mel. Fantastic. Now I'm hungry. Yeah. Now I'm very hungry. I'm with you, BC. We'll go and see these kids here. And wow, look, the time has flown. Got to head off this morning. Ready for a big day? Come and see our little friends down here. Yeah. DNS. Excuse me. That's a great subject. I think you've got sauces for chips and sauces for meat. Fish and chips, yeah. Fantastic, Mel. DNS, mine is very hard to go past. Peppercorn sauce. Do like garlic butter, but yeah, peppercorn sauce is best. What about you guys? What's your favourite sauce? 79 likes. Thanks, everyone. Thank you for giving a thumbs up for all our birdie friends here. Mushroom gravy for heights. Nice. Must be a South Australian thing.
fast Bricky on the run for me. Anyone else going to put their favourite sauce in? Middle-aged markets. Wow. Yeah, baby, 9:30. That's right. It's the morning is absolutely flown. These guys have smashed entree, first and second breakfast. Look at the blue sky. We're going to take advantage of it today. Ah, Worcestershire and butter. Never tried that. Sounds pretty cool. You started something, GNS and CC. Chips with butter. That's crazy, isn't it? Tartare sauce, yeah, nice. Herb butter on steak. Oh, yum. I think it's a bit salty. Cocktail sauce. Wow. We need to make a list of these. Blue vein cheese sauce. Wow. It's a bit decadent. So, CC, what's your favourite sauce? Truffle butter. Wow. Getting classy now. Good luck, baby Roo. Cool. These guys have definitely done a massive clean-up job. Found a bit of dessert. Truffle butter, yeah. I'm going to have to learn about how you can do it at home. Lobster pasta, wow. You're getting pretty posh around there.
Everybody.
Oh, the corral flock are flying through.
I'm going down shit.
Oh, they're coming back. Peanut butter sauce.
Couple. What do I do?
I have to find out more about that.
Maybe a donut.
Just the pasta, fantastic. Well, you've definitely got us hungry here. Well, we're on the back end. It's time to call it a morning. We've got some more topics to talk about, I think, that need to be sorted out. Because I've learnt a lot today. Look at these guys still. That's incredible, guys. And we've got a beautiful day. So, 29 degrees.
What a beautiful day.
What are we, 15 now? So we've gone up from 7 or 8 degrees this morning. Now it's 15. Sun is just coming up around the corner. It's really been the Corella show today with these guys. The Maggies have had their snacks. Kevin has come in and given us a sing-song on the rail. Pretty awesome. Thanks, MG. Yeah, appreciate all the likes and support, and thanks for being part of an amazing show again here. It's great to have you as part of
Yeah, I'm going. It's 9 o'clock on the dot. birds of Australia.
Vice President. Thank you to our seed supporters as well.
Just like at Magpie Manor. Right. But the flying one. Check out how they fly. As they fly. We've got good snacks today. Happy day, legends. I am. Get up and do something. I'll play PUBG Mobile. Peace love. Stay magical. Stay toasty. Watch some YouTube. Play a game. Go for a walk. Jezza out. Book. You.